The morning rush had already begun when Lily pushed open the small service window of her bright orange food truck, letting in the crisp city air mixed with the smell of roasted coffee beans and fresh pastries. Her hands moved quickly, almost mechanically, as she prepared cup after cup, barely looking up at the growing line outside. Life had taught her one thing: don't slow down, don't get distracted, and definitely don't expect anything good to last. Every second mattered when you were trying to survive, not just live. Lily wasn't always this hardened. There was a time when she used to smile more, laugh freely, and believe in dreams that didn't revolve around paying bills or making rent. But that was years ago, back when she still believed in people, back when she believed in him. Next, she called out, her voice calm but distant. A man stepped forward, his polished shoes stopping just inches from the truck window. He stood out immediately, not just because of his tailored navy suit or the expensive watch peeking from under his sleeve, but because of the quiet confidence he carried. He didn't check his phone like everyone else. He didn't seem impatient. Instead, he simply watched her. But Lily didn't look up. "What can I get you?" she asked, already reaching for a cup. "Black coffee," he replied, his voice low and steady. Something about his tone lingered in the air, but Lily ignored it. She'd served hundreds of customers like him, wealthy, composed, living lives far removed from hers. To her, he was just another order. She handed him the coffee without making eye contact. "That'll be $3. He didn't move immediately. Instead, he studied her face as if searching for something she refused to give him. "Lily," he said softly. Her hand froze mid-motion. For a split second, time seemed to pause. That name, spoken in that voice, wasn't something a stranger could just say. Slowly, almost reluctantly, she looked up. Their eyes met, and in that moment, the world she had carefully built around herself cracked. It was him, but it couldn't be. No, it was him. The same sharp jawline, the same deep eyes, only now they carried a weight of experience and success. The boy she once knew had become a man she could barely recognize. She blinked, her expression hardening instantly as she pulled back. "You must be mistaken," she said coldly, taking the money from his hand without another glance. But he didn't leave. Instead, he leaned slightly closer, lowering his voice so only she could hear. "Still remember me?" Her heart pounded against her chest, but her face remained unreadable. "I don't have time for this. Please move, there are people waiting." Behind him, the line shifted impatiently, but he didn't budge. "5 years, he continued quietly. "And you're telling me you don't remember?" Lily clenched her jaw. Of course she remembered. How could she forget the boy who once meant everything to her? The one who promised her a future, only to disappear without a word. "I remember someone," she finally said, her tone sharp. But he wasn't the kind of person who just showed up like this after disappearing. A flicker of pain crossed his face, but it was gone as quickly as it came. "I didn't disappear," he said. "I had to leave." Without a goodbye, she shot back, her voice rising slightly before she caught herself. She glanced at the line, then lowered her tone again. "That's not leaving. That's abandoning." Silence hung between them, heavy and unresolved. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "You deserve an explanation." Lily let out a short, bitter laugh. "I deserved that 5 years ago." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The noise of the city faded into the background as old memories resurfaced, late-night talks, shared dreams, promises whispered under the stars. Promises that were never kept. "You've changed," he said finally. "So have you," she replied, glancing at his suit. "Clearly. It's not what you think." "It never is," she muttered. The man straightened, his expression shifting from nostalgic to determined. "Let me explain. Just one chance." Lily shook her head immediately. "No, Lily," I said. "No," she repeated firmly. "Whatever you have to say, it doesn't matter anymore." But even as she said the words, her voice wavered slightly, because deep down, it did matter, and he knew it. "Then why won't you look at me?" he asked quietly. That question hit harder than anything else. Her hands tightened around the edge of the counter. Slowly, reluctantly, she met his gaze again, and this time, There was no hiding the storm in her eyes because, she said, her voice barely above a whisper, if I do, I might remember the girl I used to be. And that was something she couldn't afford, not anymore. The line behind him grew louder, pulling them back to reality. He stepped back slightly, realizing he had pushed enough for now. All right, he said softly. But this isn't over. Lily didn't respond, she simply turned away, focusing on the next order as if nothing had happened, but her hands weren't as steady as before, and her heart refused to calm down. As he walked away, he paused for a brief moment, glancing back at the food truck, the place where fate had unexpectedly brought them together again. 5 years apart. 1,000 unanswered questions, and one sentence that changed everything. Still remember me. Because sometimes, the past doesn't stay buried, sometimes, it comes back when you least expect it, and when it does, it forces you to choose, hold on to the pain, or finally face the truth.